What would you do if your child's favorite doll started moving on its own? Not just a little shift you could laugh off, but walking, smiling, and watching you in the middle of the night. This is exactly what happened to the Doe brothers on a stormy night that should have been peaceful, but turned into something they'll never forget and will never feel safe talking about again. The storm outside had been raging for hours. Rain slammed against the windows, wind whistled through the cracks, and lightning flashed so bright it lit up the whole house in bursts. Inside, Lucas sat in the living room, cradling their newborn niece. Marcus sat beside him, finger to his lips, silently signaling for everyone to keep the noise down so the baby could sleep. The baby's newest gift, a big, pink, frilly Barbie doll, sat by the sliding glass door. They had left it there after playing earlier in the day. Nothing unusual, until the next flash of lightning. In that brief burst of white light, Marcus swore he saw the doll's head turn. He blinked, shook his head. It's just my imagination, he thought. But when the next lightning strike hit, her head was tilted more, and those eyes, once a flat, painted blue, were now glowing red, like tiny embers in the dark. The baby stirred, letting out a soft cry. Lucas adjusted her in his arms, but his eyes never left the doll. "Marcus," he whispered, his voice barely audible over the storm, "are you seeing this?" Marcus didn't answer. He was too focused on the figure at the door. Because now, the doll wasn't sitting anymore. She was standing. The click of plastic heels echoed in the silent house as the doll stepped forward. The brothers froze, their instincts screaming to run, but their bodies wouldn't listen. It felt like her gaze was pinning them in place, holding them hostage. Then, with an ear-piercing crack, the glass of the sliding door shattered, not from the storm, but from her touch. The wind roared into the house, tossing papers, rattling furniture. And there she stood in the doorway, smiling that wide, twisted grin, as if she'd been waiting for this moment. The doll's mouth moved. At first, no sound came out. Then, like a faint radio signal breaking through static, they heard it. "Give her to me." Lucas clutched the baby tighter, his heart pounding. "Stay away," he shouted, though the words felt weak against the storm. Marcus grabbed a nearby lamp and held it like a weapon, but deep down he knew, how do you fight something that isn't even human? Another flash of lightning. Then darkness. The power cut instantly, plunging the house into pitch black except for the faint red glow from the doll's eyes. She was inside now. The sound of her heels against the wooden floor came closer, slower, deliberate. Marcus whispered, "We have to move, now." But as they tried to stand, the baby began to cry louder, and the doll's smile widened. With every ounce of courage, Lucas bolted toward the kitchen, clutching the baby. Marcus followed, slamming the door shut behind them. But the sound of plastic fingers scraping along the wood told them she was right outside. Then, silence. No footsteps. No scraping. Just the sound of rain. They waited 30 seconds, a minute. Finally, Marcus cracked the door open. The hallway was empty. The shattered glass was still there, the wind still howling, but the doll was gone. They never found her. The next morning, the Barbie was back in the baby's room, sitting perfectly still in the crib. Same pink dress. Same painted smile. But her eyes were brown again. The Doe brothers won't keep that doll in the house anymore. But they both know, whatever came through that door that night, it's still out there. And it knows where they live.